the Hilal committee
Yeah.
that decides.
Yeah.
The moon is not seen.
Yeah. That's, we just go by the masjid, but
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. الوحدة الثانية الترويح عن النفس الدرس الثامن عشر أنواع الترويح types of recreation تهيئة preamble فكر في الإجابة عن الأسئلة التالية Think about the answer to the following questions هل تروح عن نفسك أحيانا كيف Do you self-recreate yourself sometimes and how? Halil,
suffocate.
basically, do you go on recreation sometimes? It means this.
Oh, so I thought you said suffocate.
Halil qira'atu naw'un min anwa'i tarwi is reading from the types of recreation. Halil tarwihu mufidun is recreation beneficial. Mata yakunu tarwihu when mata yakunu tarwihu ghaira mufidin when does recreation become unbeneficial? Give me a minute. Mata yakunu tarwihu ghaira mufidin when does recreation become unbeneficial, non-beneficial? So whose turn is this?
Don't know.
Whose turn is this?
Don't know.
Who read
My
last time?
turn. It's my turn.
Okay, read it.
Anwa anwa ut tarwihi tahtiata fakir
Fakir.
fakir fil ijabati anil as'alatit taliyati hal 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 turawihu an nafsika ay ahyanan kaifa hal halil qiraatu nu'un min anwa'it tarwihi halit tarwihu mufidun mata yakunut tarwihu ghaira mufidin.
Yumarisun nasu bazal anshita. People practice some activities. People do some activities. Litarwihi ani nafsi to recreate themselves, to refresh themselves. ويطلب الناس الترويح بعد أناء العمل أو الدراسة and people need recreation after the fatigue of work or studies. فالعامل الذي يعمل كثيرا يحتاج إلى الترويح So the worker who works a lot needs recreation. والطالب الذي يدرس قصيرا يحتاج إلى الترويح. And the student who studies a lot needs recreation. والترويح مفيد للعقل والجسم. And the recreation is beneficial for mind and body. وليس الهدف من الترويح قتل الوقت وإنما الهدف قضاء الوقت في أنشطة مفيدة. And target and the goal of recreation is not to waste time, but it is to spend the time in beneficial activities. The goal, the target of recreation is not to waste time, but indeed its goal is to spend the time in beneficial activities. Rahma,
نعم. يم- يمارس الناس بعد الأنشطة للترويح عن النفس ويطلب الناس الترويح بعد بعد أناء العمل أو دراسة. فالعامل الذي يعمل كثير يحتاج إلى ترويح، والطالب الذي يدرس كثير يحتاج إلى ترويح، والترويح مفيد للعقل والجسم، وليس الهدف من الترويح قتل الوقت، وإنما هدف قضاء الوقت في الأنشطة مفيدة.
أنشطة
أنشطة.
للترويح صور كثيرة، منها القراءة وممارسة الرياضة والسفر وقضاء الوقت في الحديقة أو على الشاطئ وألعاب الحاسوب وإقامة المخيمات وصيد السمك وزيارة المتاحف. Recreation has many forms, among them reading and doing exercise, or you can also translate it as playing sports, playing games, wasafaru and traveling, wakada'ul waqti and spending the time in the garden or on the beach, and computer games and staying. Ikama means staying in the tents. Wasayidu samaki and fish hunting. Wazayaratul matahifi and visiting the museums. يفضل كثير من الناس القراءة ففيها فائدة ومتعة. Many people prefer reading, so in it there are benefits and delight. And mutta you can also say delight, okay? فالإنسان يروّح عن نفسه بقراءة القصص والشعر والكتب المفيدة. So a human refreshes himself by reading stories and poetry and beneficial books. ومن الترويح المفيد ممارسة الرياضة لأن الإسلام يدعو إلى القوة. And from the types of beneficial recreation is doing exercise. From the types of beneficial recreation is doing exercise. Lianna, because al-Islam yaddu, Islam calls, Islam invites, Islam calls ila quwwa to power, to strength. Islam calls for strength. Call al-Rasulu, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Al-mu'minul qawiyyu khayrun wa ahabbu ilallahi minal mu'minil zaifi wa fi kullin khayr. Al-mu'minul qawiyyu, the strong mu'min, the strong believer, khayrun better, wa ahabbu and more dear and dearer, ilallahi to Allah, minal mu'minil zaifi from the weak believer. وَفِي كُلِّ خَيْرٍ and there is goodness in all of them. Even if he is zaif, there is still goodness in him, but the stronger believer is better and more dear to Allah than the weak believer. Unfortunately, nowadays Muslims are very weak. Most of the countries are weak. وَكَانَ الْمُسْلِمُونَ يُمَارِسُونَ الرِّيَاضَةَ and people and the Muslim وَكَانَ الْمُسْلِمُونَ and Muslims used to do exercise, play sports. قال Umar ibn al-Khattab, Umar bin Khattab said, علموا أولادكم السباحة والرماية وركوب الخيل. Teach your children. علموا أولادكم. Teach your children السباحة, the swimming. والرماية. Rimaya means shooting. You can say arrow that they used to throw in the past. Shooting arrows or
Archery.
archery. Yes, the word is archery. Or rukub al khairi and the horse riding. Sibaha is the best exercise. Okay, Rizwana.
Yes, sir.
للتروي
Lit tarwihi.
للتروي سورة كثيرة منها. There are many types of recreation. In it, al-kiratu wa mumarasatu riyadati wa safaru mumarasatu riyadi. Exercise or sports, traveling, wa qadaul waqti fil hadikati and spending time in the garden or ala shati on the beach. Wal abul hasubi or computer games wa ikamatul mukhayyamati or staying in tents wa saidu samaki or fishing wa ziyaratul mataifi or visiting museums. Yufaddilu kasirun minan nasil kirata. People benefit more from reading.
Prefer. Yufaddilu. Prefer.
People prefer reading.
Many people prefer reading.
Yes, kasiran. Many people prefer reading. Okay. ففيها فائدة ومتعة. For in it are benefits and
Mutta means pleasure and delight.
satisfaction and delight. فالإنسان يروه عن نفسه بقراءة القصص والشعر والكتب المفيدة. فالإنسان people يروه. What is that?
Recreate.
Recreate. People recreate from reading stories, poetry, and beneficial books. ومن الترويح المفيد ممارسة الرياضي. And from beneficial recreation is playing sports. لأن الإسلام يدعو إلى القوة. And Islam calls for strength. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم said المؤمن القوي خير. The strong mu'min is better. وأحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف. And Allah loves stronger mu'min more than the weaker. وفي كل خير. And all of them are good.
And there is goodness in all of them.
Yes, there is goodness in all of them. وَكَانَ الْمُسْلِمُونَ يُمَارِسُونَ الرِّيَاضَةَ. Muslims were playing sports. Kala Umar ibn Khattab. Umar ibn Khattab said, Allimu awladukum sibahata wa rimayata wa rukubal khayl. Teach your children swimming, archery and horse riding.
How many of you don't do exercise daily? Which of you?
I never do. Kusala.
You never do. Okay, one. Amina.
My only exercise is, sir, mashallah, the salah. I always tell my patient the best yoga is salah.
Salah is good, but we need exercise also.
Yeah, but I should go for walking. No, my patients used to ask, you want to do yoga. I said, you pray 5 times, that is the best yoga.
Now that is kind of okay, you can use for another. Miss Amin Abdi Hassan Khatija Niswan Noor Rahma, you
Yeah, daily, inshallah.
do
I don't
exercise
do.
daily?
I don't do.
I don't do.
Okay. Usually the religious women don't do exercise. I don't know why.
Because I think working at home
don't go
will do it for us.
Still, this
Oh, even when I was home, I go out. It's good for your head and your heart just to get some fresh air.
Sir, it is very hot here. The temperature sometimes reaching 50. Where to go for walking?
you can
Here
do
people
exercise.
walk in the mall. I don't like.
You can do exercise at home.
Yes.
There are many exercises that we can do at home without any equipment.
Yeah.
I think cleaning the house is an exercise also.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
That's why ladies do exercise. They clean the house and wash and cook and everything.
So التدريب الأول ده علامة الصحيح أو خطأ بين القوسين ثم صحيح الخطأ. So you will put check mark or cross mark according to the lesson and then you will correct them also. أجب باختصار عما يلي. Answer in brief to what is below. You will write brief answers, short answers to these questions. مفردات vocabulary التدريب الأول سل بين الكلمتين اللتين تأتيان معا. He's asking you to join two words together and then use them in a sentence. So what is the word for side? Appropriate word for side.
Samaki.
Saidus Samaki. Sentence.
قراءة الكتب.
Wait.
We need to make a sentence for Saidus Samaki.
And now
Okay.
كنت سيد السمك in the sea من البحر.
Okay, if you want to say that thing, then you need to make a verb.
كنت
Hmm? Usaidu Asamaka.
So can I use kuntu
Yes.
with a verb? Oh, kuntu usaidu dul asamaka min
Fil
bahari.
Okay. Then
sir, min or fi?
any question?
Bahari. Sir, in Bahari, min or fi?
Fi.
Yes, I think it is fi.
Yes. Next.
No, I took them from it.
أريد قراءة كتب
Kutub.
قصص.
Okay. Uridu Kiraatal Kutubil Kisasi. Next.
Rukubul khayl.
ركوب الخيل.
So sentence Rukubul Khail.
أريد ركوب الخيل.
Uridu Rukubal Khaili. Okay. التدريب الثاني عد في الكلمتين مناسبتين إلى كل مجموعة. Add two appropriate words in each group. So you need to write two words for dirasa. Any two words.
What is that, sir? I didn't understand.
You need to add two words to each group. For example, the group is ad-dirasa. They have written two words, al-ulum and at-tib. You need to write two more words here.
Lughat al-Arabiyya.
Okay, al-lughat al-arabiyya. Then
Handisya. Handasiyya.
al-handasatu. Okay. Then at-tarwihu.
Kirata.
So what is the word?
Sahifatun. Sahifatun.
Sahifa. Okay.
ركاب حيل.
Rukubul khayl. Okay.
Yeah.
Al-waqt.
Sana.
اليوم.
Dakika.
Shah.
Which word?
Sana. Dakika. Minutes, sir. Minutes.
Dakika.
Dakika.
Okay. Dakika. Then
Sana.
one more word for waqt.
Shahar. Shahar.
Bahar. Okay. Immediately you will fill it. And file. We'll start the file next time, inshallah. Any questions?
Inshallah.
Ma'as-salama.
Ma'as-salam.
جزاكم الله خير.
Mayyakum.
Sir, can I ask you one thing?
Yes.
from starting of Ramzan, I'm thinking. So how you this adjust with your Isha and Tarawi? Evening class you are taking still?
These days we are not doing Tarawih in masjid.
Masjid,
Oh.
yeah. And
We-
Isha also?
Yes,
Not
we
in
are
masjid? Here there are
not doing.
Salah is in the masjid.
My cousin last
Oh.
year.
So here at the
Uh,
moment we are not doing any prayer in masjid except the Friday prayer. Or we go to masjid.
Oh,
only
you're all
for
5
Friday.
times are there. That's why I was wondering how.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
We do only the
Okay.
Friday prayer in the masjid.
Then after the class you pray.
Alhamdulillah.
Huh?
Yes. Okay, any question?
No. Bukra, inshallah.
Inshallah. But there is one more thing for Tarawih.